Welcome to a new episode of Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. On today's show, we welcome a former Super Bowl champion who is now a big-name media personality in New Orleans, Marlon Favorite. Also known as Big Fave, Marlon is a former NFL defensive tackle who won both a Super Bowl title and national championship in his home state of Louisiana as a member of the New Orleans Saints and the LSU Tigers. Along with playing football, Favorite has been a recording artist, songwriter, and MC since the age of 13. His music career spans over 2 decades. He currently serves as the host of a daily sports talk show, Inside the Trenches, which can be heard on ESPN Radio 100.3 FM in New Orleans. We now welcome Marlon to this live stream of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome into a brand new edition of Listen In with KNN right here, presented by Fox Sports Radio. So excited to be back. I'm excited to get into today's show. I feel like all of us need a timeline cleanse. It's been a little testy on social media. So much controversy and conflict. We'll do a little bit of that today, but we're really going to get into football talk, which I'm excited about. In music, somebody that has done both of those at a top level. I can't wait to get into today's guests and bring your questions, bring your thoughts, bring your energy, because joining me live today down from the Lou, I have the very own, Louisiana's very own, I'll say their favorite son, I'm going to call him, because I think he's that talented and that special to that state. He is Marlon Big Fave Favorite. He's a recording artist and a former NFL defensive tackle, also like me in the broadcast industry, doing great things on radio with ESPN down in Louisiana. So without further ado, please help me welcome Marlon Favorite to the show. Marlon, thanks so much for joining me. How are you?
Everything is awesome, Kelsey. Thanks for finally having me on the show. This is great. It was a pretty dope intro, too. You heard me? I like it.
I had to bring it. I was like, I got Marlon as a top recording artist. So if the music's not right, I'm going to be in big trouble to start the show. So I'm glad that you liked it. How are you feeling? How are you doing? I love the shirt. Hello, somebody.
Everything is great. Thank you so much. Down here in Louisiana, there's Saints OTAs going on, and of course, we're gearing up for this year's LSU football season. The festivals, this is the most active action I had since I've been in college in terms of doing festivals and shows. Was able to do the Woodmere Fest a couple weeks ago and getting ready for the first annual Block Party musical festival here in New Orleans. So it's been a hot summer.
That's exciting. A hot guy summer for Marlon. I love that for you. And it's so amazing seeing your music career take off. And I know you've been doing music for a long time, but it sounds like you said it's been the busiest for you. So I mean, does it feel like the dreams are coming true? Because I know you had the football dream. Now it seems like the musical dream you're living. So it seems like you're happy and like life is good for you, Marlon.
It is. It's a blessing. Everything's going fine with the fam, and this is just a
Yeah.
vision that God has put on my life years ago. When I was at LSU, it wasn't common to have athletes do music and get into different things. And I did go
Yeah.
to LSU and graduated in broadcasting. So to see my career and my music reignite and still be involved in football, not only as a broadcaster but doing position drills with defensive linemen with my business Conquer
Yeah.
has it just feels great to live in a space, and it's fun. And of course around this time of year, NBA finals, uh,
So
this
much.
summer we have the Olympics. It's just so much to be excited about in our industry.
Yeah, like you said, it's a fun time. I know all of us are counting down to the six. We want NBA finals to start. Lots of WNBA talk, like you said, football, which by the way, I still to this day do not know how Saints do OTAs or any football practice. I mean, it's 88 degrees here in DC, Marlon. You see my face, I'm sweating. New Orleans, though, is a whole different type of heat. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
breathes you. It breathes you
Yes,
from
it is.
something. I don't know how you did it so long. I guess you're used to it. But you talked about the Saints, and I saw you showed love to Justin Jefferson. I mean, I love seeing guys get the bag. I know a fellow LSU guy like yourself. But let's start with that. I mean, he reset the wide receiver market, right? We talk about 4 years, 140 million, well deserved. He's one of honestly my favorite young wide receivers to watch. A game changer. A game changer. I think he is. So talk about him a little bit and why you were so excited for Justin to get paid and get paid big and well.
Well, Kelsey, the biggest thing is stuff going full circle. My senior year at LSU was my fifth senior year.
Yeah.
Was Jordan Jefferson's first year.
Yeah.
Him and Patrick Peterson, they were young freshmen coming in to LSU, and I remember taking those guys under my wing, and this young man running around asking for autographs, taking pictures was Justin Jefferson. And then he grows up. I'm doing the Cox Sport games of the week here locally in Louisiana, high school football games, and here's this
Yeah.
one star kid making all of this noise. And I'm like, all right, man, little brother going, make some noise. He transfers to LSU. Fast
Wow.
forward, one of the biggest stars on the national championship team goes first round, and now he's the biggest, highest paid non-quarterback ever. It's just a huge deal, Kelsey.
It's wild. I'm so excited for him and what he represents. Look, he's got a lot of other guys looking at their agents like, hey, I want to get paid like Justin. And look, you should get it, but for in Justin's case, again, well deserved. I mean, he's somebody you have to account for on that football field. Even though Marlon, I feel like his news was overshadowed because we're staying in this controversy in the WNBA with Caitlin Clark and Kennedy Carter. So I don't know if you follow the WNBA much or watch women's hoops or basketball. But, since it's such a big topic, I might as well ask you, Marlon, if you have any thoughts on so much of the social media traction. It seems like that's literally been the biggest headline in sports since Saturday when we had that Fever Sky game.
Yes, it's big. We actually talked about that on our show on yesterday. The biggest thing that we have to point out is the numbers. This is the most numbers that the WNBA has ever seen in its incision. It's had big stars. Some of the big stars are my old classmates, like Sylvia Files, who
Yeah.
came to LSU the same year I did. Simone Augustus, her last year at LSU was my first year at LSU. So we've seen big stars. I've seen Candace Parker play at her time at Tennessee. But with Caitlin Clark and this whole row of ladies, Cameron Brink, Angel Reese is
Yep.
the Bayou Barbie. Like
Yep.
what all of them have done for the sport has been phenomenal. So I do sense a little jealousy. I do sense a little, the ordinary. This happens.
Okay.
This isn't new. They Candace Parker got roughed up. Angel Reese just got roughed up. But we
Yes.
have to be honest. The attention that Caitlin Clark as an individual is bringing to the sport, to the WNBA, has never been seen before. And at the very end of the day, I do believe eventually, I should say, the WNBA needs to protect their asset
Mm.
because at the very end of the day, you don't want that young lady, getting hurt because that's all the dollars. We're talking about $75,000 is the average salary. Now, Angel Reese spends that on a purse on a weekend.
She's a brand. Like Bayou Barbie is a brand, now Chicago Barbie.
Yes, it's Chicago, but we're not going to. They're making money through their endorsement deals, but at the end of the day, that base salary needs to raise, and players like Caitlin Clark will do that for them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Caitlin Clark will continue, and she has helped elevate that brand. But, I am on the other part of it where I feel like, again, this has been happening. The WNBA has been trending. And yes, Caitlin Clark is an anomaly, I think, who has to help to fast track. But, I mean, you're a competitor. Marlon, you've won on the top levels, both in college and in the National Football League. Athletes compete. Yes, things get chippy. Of course, yes, I hated what happened to Caitlin Clark. It shouldn't have happened. But at the end of the day, again, I think we're spending too much time on this. Let the ladies play ball. Like, I love this competition. It's great storylines. I'm glad we're talking about it. But I'm tired of it too. Like, I mean, let's move on. You talk, Alyssa Thomas literally had Angel by the neck, and Angel got back up like, yeah, I'm a rookie, and hey, I'm gonna keep balling. Like, I just love that spirit and mentality about her. Might be because she spent some time, out there, obviously at LSU, but of course she's from the DMV area, and we're made a little tougher, I think, Marlon. But yeah, I don't know. I love what Caitlin brings to the game. And, I want to break down this word jealousy, though, because I think wording matters. And Jamel Cutler here talked about nobody complained when Angel Reese literally got hit in the throat by Alyssa Thomas, someone she's familiar with from college right at Maryland. But all that to say, what do you see as jealousy? Because I've heard frustration. I've heard jealousy. Let's just break that down, because I want to make sure I'm understanding where you're coming from. So you feel like the girls really just hate, or you feel like they're hating on what Caitlin Clark has brought to the game, and you think that's kind of why she's getting some of the, I guess, fouls that happen in basketball?
I think it's a combination of the norm and hating. So it's a little bit of haterade, being drinking, but this happens all the time. When Cheryl Swoops first got to the WNBA,
Yeah, and a legend.
Yes, when Candace Parker, these ladies were roughed up. So this is what happens. But the amount of exposure and the amount of views and the popularity that Caitlin Clark has makes this a big deal. Think about it. Let's put this in perspective. This is the first year the WNBA has been a major talking topic on all the major networks. The national morning shows. Oh, Caitlin Clark got roughed up. That didn't happen. I just saw one of your viewers mention no one complained when Angel Reese hit the ground. Yeah. Now it's two different people, right? It's a 3-point shooter on one end that's more of a Steph Curry. Angel Reese, like my podcast, she's in the trenches. So it's going to get rough.
She's not afraid of a couple elbows.
She's not. Now, the way Caitlin got hit and Angel got hit, that was both dirty. But here's what's going to end up happening, Kelsey. First and foremost, I do like the competition. If she was going for a layup and then she roughed her, that's different. Her back was turned and then she hit her when she couldn't see. So that's what made it dirty, as opposed to just being a competitor. But what's going to end up happening, we called it early in the studio, the Michael Jordan rule. You had to protect Michael Jordan in the NBA. The bad boys of Detroit was doing Mike dirty. Mike was getting elbows to the mouth. It was rough. But hold on, we can't have him hurt. He's a huge asset. I do see the WNBA in the near future, Kelsey, putting together not just around the Caitlin Clark effect, but it will be the Caitlin Clark rule, where if you let me tell you something. In football, if you breathe on Tom Brady, you're going to get a FedEx in your locker room.
I see that. Look, I cover the Ravens. I remember those matchups.
you touch Lamar Jackson, that's going to be a fine. And the NFL started to implement that more to protect their assets, and I can see the WNBA doing that in the near future.
Yeah, but I think it's hard, right? Completely understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, again, you ask athletes to compete. And yes, if someone's getting attention, I mean, of course, like you said, I think that brings a different level of competition. But my worry is, I didn't think there was any jealousy at first. I really thought, okay, they know the attention's on her, but we're excited what that brings. I think the conversation, though, happening around right now would probably make somebody feel away. Because again, we've had 4 full days of nonstop Caitlin Clark coverage, and there's other things happening right now in the WNBA that we could be talking about. Like, I'm excited. I'm in DC. Angel Reese is about to come to town. Caitlin Clark is about to come to town. Some big matchups. Skylar Diggins-Smith about to go against Diana Taurasi. I mean, there's so much that we could literally be talking about. But all we're still talking about, again, was a nasty play that she bounced up from, and she's okay, which I'm glad for. But it was just interesting. That was the first time I really seen football news, Marlon, pushed to the back, because it was like the Justin Jefferson throw. And then it was like we talked a little bit about it, but then it was like all Caitlin Clark the rest of the day. And I know Justin Jefferson's agent is probably like, well, dang, because usually he would be a hot topic, he or she, right? Whoever negotiated the contract, and they would be obviously praised for making history essentially right at that point. But instead, it's like, and now we have McCaffrey. I mean, even all this news, though, it seems like it's still going to the background. And that just seems like the power that Caitlin Clark has. I mean, literally, she's captivated not just our nation. This is international talk, Marlon, that they're talking about this on.
Yeah, look at the views. Look at Ion Television. Look at, this is a bad team. Like, let's put this in perspective.
They're the second worst team than my Washington Mystics, Marlon.
Why are we talking about them, right? But again, it just speaks volumes about her star power, and this is good for the entire league because now I'm glad whoever Robert Jackson is. I was going to mention that to you, like AJ Wilson.
AJ Wilson, yeah, she's been balling out.
All these records. That's the real news, But this is a part of the problem.
So much. And then, Jamal has a good point too, because we did see Caitlin, throw some elbows and stuff. And I know people have brought that up and no one's talking about it, but people pick and choose where they want to have their anger. But again, it has us talking. I'm glad it has us talking. But I just ask people, let's focus on the game. Let's focus on the game. Again, these ladies are competitors and athletes. I hate to say it. I hope it doesn't happen again to Caitlin, but if it does, again, I don't want to spend a week long on one incident. Again, when summertime is one of the best times for those of us that love sports. So, I just hope we can move on and tread lightly, be nice, because there's been some nasty things said on social media. I won't dig into all of it in the show, but again, these ladies play so much, and I don't think anybody deserves to be disrespected. So I just hope people can be nice to each other, Marlon, at the end of the day, like me and you, just nice people, happy people. Maybe they need to listen to some of your music, Marlon. Just put some good vibes on.
Yeah.
Make people excited. And, I'm just curious, is Caitlin Clark as big of a deal, would you feel like, in New Orleans or in Louisiana? Do you feel like because Angel Reese has ties there playing at LSU, do you feel like more folks in Louisiana and the New Orleans area are more like team Angel Reese? Because, they're forever kind of intertwined and connected. We remember the whole national championship game. Do you feel like they're more like leaning towards Angel Reese in your neck of the woods?
Oh, yeah. We love the Bayou Barbie down here because and it is just really, especially last year, that national championship, her and Flaugier, and me and Flaugier never met, but I just feel the connection because she reminds me so much of who I was in college, doing music and doing sports at the same time. And winning the national championship. So we love it down here, but I will say this. The real sports heads, the folks who remember the classic matchups between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, that's what we see and to get it from the ladies. I love it. Like me growing up, my little cousin Rhonda, she played AAU basketball. I love watching women's basketball. I watched Simone Augustus and Pete Maravich, Candace Parker, and Kane. I didn't perform in front of Candace Parker. So I enjoy the sport, but now the sport's these ladies used to have to go overseas to make money.
Yeah.
So it's just a good thing that is. Yeah, so we fired up about Angel Reese, but really where women's basketball is going down here.
It's exciting. You look at what Brianna Stewart announced with the 3-on-3 league, her and Afisa Collier. We're talking about more money than they're making in the WNBA. I mean, it's an exciting time for women's basketball. You talk about some of the young stars, think about Paige Beckers and Juju and the stars that we're going to have eventually coming out. I mean, it's just exciting to see everyone really investing into the game. All right, I had to go there, but I am talking to someone again from Gretna, right, Marlon? Gretna, Louisiana. I know football is big down there, so we have to get to football because I know our fans are going to want to talk about that. So something I think that also has been lost is the proposed longer season, right? 18-game schedule. I wanted to talk with you about this because you've played the game. Obviously, you've been in the locker room. Just kind of curious your thoughts, again, on a longer season. We know we've been talking about moving OTAs. I mean, so lots of conversation right now in the National Football League that will really impact players. I just kind of wanted to get your perspective.
Well, the 18-game schedule is something that is huge because now it does equate more money, and that probably explains these big old contracts that's going
That
out.
we're seeing, yeah.
Um, yeah, but you do think about that less playing time in the preseason.
Right.
So a guy like me, I lived in the preseason. That's why I was able to get my shine on trying to make these teams. So it's not the same amount
Hmm.
of evaluation time. You do jump into the season. For the
Yeah.
players, it's no different. You still they just took two of the games away from preseason. So you would usually play them
Yeah.
4 preseason games anyway.
Yeah.
So I just think that you start long-term thinking players' health because some guys are going to play a game on Thursday, turn right back around, play a Monday night football
Yep.
game, and then
No
have to
rest
come back
time.
and it's not basketball, you know. So
Yeah.
you do look at that, but for the fans, it's more meaningful football being played. So I just I just think long term for the players, I just feel like they just need to cut in more areas, like less OTA time, which they have
Yeah.
done, and give players more time to recover.
Yeah, and again, I think it's huge news. And again, I mean, you play defensive tackle. You know what goes into it. And I think there's so many underlying factors, but it also makes you think to just preparation, right? Even getting to
Mhm.
before you get to National Football League in college. And now there's so much happening in college right now, right? With the NIL landscape, with the transfer portal. Now, Marlon, we had this huge news that came out with the House versus NCAA, and we're talking about billions of dollars, right? And we're not just talking about players now, folks. We're talking about back damages, settlements, right? Going back to 2016, I know people like you and me, Marlon, who graduated a little bit earlier, like, wait a minute, but no, but I'm also curious, and I do want to talk about this because again, you went to LSU, obviously a top football powerhouse program as it has been for many years, and establishing that. Just kind of curious your thoughts on this because this is new, right, for so many folks, and for so long, people have been asking, you need to pay athletes. It's not just enough to give student athletes, scholarships to play when they're making all
Mhm.
this money for schools. And so I'm just curious your thoughts again as someone who won a national championship at LSU, right? Probably could have made a lot of dollars back in the day if NIL was a thing there. What are your thoughts on kind of this forward movement it seems like we're seeing and it really the NCAA being forced to show their hand?
Well, I really wish I could get some reparations, for what was earned.
Bring it back a
We'll
little
leave
bit
that for
more. Bring it back a little bit
some,
more.
maybe get one of them throwback teams. The '07 LSU team. What's up, NCAA? Papa brother. What's up? Shouts out to the homie Kyle.
Yeah,
Me and
shout out to
Kyle worked.
Kyle.
Yeah. But I think when we look at it from what this means for the sport, one of the more insulting things that I think I experienced as a collegiate athlete at LSU
Mm-hmm.
was struggling, right? We eat in the cafeteria, we have housing, we have books, so we are thankful for the
Right.
resources. But some of my teammates already had kids, and it's one of those situations where you're watching LSU build a $4 million habitat for a
Mm.
tiger
Hmm.
and a $20 million facility, like just out the cash pockets,
Right.
jerseys, we sign it off, and like we don't have nothing to fall back on. So
Yeah.
for me, for my kids, for the students that myself, Skylar Green, Ryan Perilou, Ron Brooks, Drake Nevis, all these guys that helped me with Conquer, who played in the NCAA. Some of
Yeah.
us, how J. Cole says, some of us made millions, some of us made memes. So we did
Yeah.
have an opportunity to
Real.
go off and make a little money. Like me, I was a journeyman. I didn't really make a lot of money in the NFL. Great
Right.
experience, but
Right.
now these players who they may max out right here, Kelsey. This might be
Mhm.
it. Like you might not get a chance to go to the NFL. Don't everybody go, but if you
Right.
made $200,000-300,000 a year, you can copy some properties now, start you a business. You can have a 401k, some type of retirement plan from your
Right.
NIL stuff in college. So for that, I am happy for the student athletes.
Yeah, like you said, it's something moving forward. You can't make a wrong right, in my opinion, right? So it's like you're saying, right? There's so many people who I wish could benefit from this, right? That unfortunately won't. But I do think it's kind of like when you become a parent, right? Everybody wants a better future for their children, right? Better than they had. So I think we're excited for the future of collegiate athletics. But I still think there's a lot to hammer out right now, again, and how payments. And I'm just so curious, really, how this is all going to break down. It's something I hope everybody has an eye on because it's that important. And the college landscape, and then also on this, Marlon, the second part of that is right now what to do with the transfer portal, right? I mean, Marlon, as broadcasters now, it seems like every time you're saying like 3 or 4 schools, colleges now, because we just have people like hopping. And essentially, let's be honest, a lot of players are switching because they want playing time, right? I mean, essentially, coach, you don't give me playing time. It's no more like, oh, I'm just going to work hard and kind of learn my lesson, and tough it out. It's all right, coach, I got you because I ain't going to be here next year, And I feel like this is kind of the mentality now that we're seeing in collegiate athletics. I mean, do you feel like that's moving in the right direction? Is it fair? Because I'm all for a student athlete agency, right? Making your own decision. But I'm also like everything needs some type of rules or regulation because otherwise it gets crazy, I think, like we're seeing right now.
It is insane, right? What we're experiencing right now is we don't have balance.
Yeah.
Both sides need a little more balance than we've seen before. And what I'm looking at right now is I I do see the business side of it for the student athletes. Like, all right, you bring in these players and you just throwing these guys in front of me. I'm gonna just get a transfer portal, go to a different
Yeah.
opportunity. What's the young man? Was it Trey Palmer from LSU? A superstar with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he got lost in the shuffle with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Big
So it
names.
made
Yeah.
sense for him to hit the portal,
Yeah.
right? He got drafted. Those are the things when I look back at the benefits of the transfer portal. Now, what it
Yeah.
takes away from is the competing.
Yeah.
You say you're the best. If you're the best, compete with the best. And if they beat you out, you get to live to compete another day. We didn't have that. I legit I had to share playing time
Yeah.
with the most decorated defensive tackle in LSU history in Glenn Dorsey.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we didn't have that opportunity to run. That was frowned upon back in the day. So I see what we're trying to find balance. And I just hope that these players that are dogs stay and compete. But if the politics isn't working in your favor, man, hit the portal. So finding
Yeah.
that balance.
Yeah, it's no love lost because I think it's just the old school politics, it seems like, has went away, and like staying out of school, toughening it up, earning your spot, essentially, right, as you could say. And now it's just, but at the same time, and I think Robert Jackson's making a good point, it can be seen as an equalizer, yes, because now we're seeing different schools now who essentially, let's be honest, Marlon, you LSU folks, y'all got used to being comfortable and being in the top balance of football. Where now, all of a sudden it's different, right? And we can see different champions, I feel like, emerge because essentially now the talent pool is being spread, right? And to be honest with you, talk to coaches, they're like, hey, my recruit pitching is different now. Kids want to know about what the NIL is like. Is there a booster collective? Like, I mean, these kids got real questions, right? So all that to say, I think it'll be interesting. I'm all for a new champion, being made. Like, I'm proud of my Terps. We always win bowl games, but I want a national championship. So, Mike Laxley, we gotta, I guess, pay to play, essentially.
Yeah, hello.
So, interesting, but not mad at it again. Glad kids are, again, essentially what they think, at least, right? Making the most, are the best decision for them moving forward. But I am curious, how the NFL and scouts, kind of look at that, when guys are looking to go to the draft. And, I don't know if that's a question, like, why did you go to so many schools? And kind of like what you're saying, why didn't you toughen it out? So
that part. And Robert Jackson is making some really great points. Before he said this is what essentially had Nick Saban retire. Yes, being recruited by Nick Saban, my first year at LSU was Nick Saban. My last 4 was Coach Miles. Both guys recruited me, but I signed with Nick Saban. Nick Saban's thing is developing players. I'll use one NFL player, and I know we got a roll here in a few, but Quinn Williams sat on the bench at Alabama for 3 years. He's the starting defensive tackle for the Jets right now. For 3 years, Quentin Williams sat on the bench at Alabama.
Right.
Started 1 year and went to the NFL. The NFL coaches trust Nick Saban.
Yeah.
So that's how Saban works. The NIL is it goes against what Nick Saban does. So to Rob's point, it essentially made him retire because his system didn't work. He wasn't going to be able to get the quality of players
No,
he's
because they
used
were
to getting.
asking Nick for some money. Let's just be real. Like, oh, that's
Show
great,
me the money.
but about the bag. Well, Marlon, I know I got to get you out of here soon. We have some folks. Obviously, we know you're repping Louisiana. Jamel Cutler asked Marlon, do you have any family or people in St. James, Louisiana? That's where my family is.
Tons of favorites there. I have a lot of family in St. James. As a matter of fact, I just did the Legends Fest out there with Kate Levy. So I know tons of people out there, tons of favorites. Cool.
Yeah. And Kyle making a great point. Alvin Kamara sat behind great ones, transferred to Tennessee. I mean, right. We can look at the examples time and time again. It's going to, again, just be really interesting to continue to follow collegiate athletics. Now, Marlon, I know I got to get you out of here, but before I let you go, we got to hear about the music. I know you've been doing this since you were, 13, right? You're true to it, not new to it. And again, I just want to talk about, the flavor and flair that you feel like you bring, because I feel like the music industry right now, it's so different, right? We have everything from Sexy Red to, I don't even know what you want to put on the other end of the spectrum, right? Whatever artist you put at the other end of the spectrum. So where do you feel like you fit in, and what do you feel like your talents as a former, not even say former athlete, because I feel like you're forever athlete, right? I'm sure you still do a lot of things that you do. What do you feel like, your athletic talents maybe also bring to that pool of what you're trying to bring to folks in the music world?
Well, I think the energy is one. Preparing to do a show, it kind of reminds me of when I used to run out on the football field. Because you're entertaining, right? Whether you're performing at a football game, making a tackle, you get up from that tackle, the crowd going wild. Well, if you singing and rapping and the flow is nice, the crowd goes wild. So to intertwine those two entities into one now. My style of music is more of Southern hip hop, R&B, soul. So, I have a song with Cupid. He has a really nice song out called Flex. And of course, we know the Cupid Shuffle called My Love. Great song, nice blend. It was a song that was inspired by Glenn Lewis's hit record from the early 2000s, Don't You Forget It. Definitely, y'all should definitely check that one out. And, I have a catalog now, like maybe 20, 30 songs on Apple Music, but just somewhere after the pandemic, I got back in the mix. Kelsey is just like
that love
all
of music.
those. Yeah, it didn't go nowhere. Like I wouldn't catch like migraines, but I would have like little mini headaches, and then I'll go to the studio and it's like
you're set free.
Yeah. Yes,
That's
yes, indeed.
beautiful to hear. I'm excited for you. I mean, I can't wait to listen to this. I can't wait for you to blow up. Look, I might be at Essence Fest this year, and I'm just saying, if you haven't done it yet, Essence Marlon favorite needs to be on a stage down there. I feel like you right. So I'm gonna need them to make sure that you're out there. But I'm so excited for you. Can't wait to continue to hear the broadcast. It sounds like ESPN's going great, right? The gig at ESPN Radio and the show. Like, I'm just so proud of you. So happy for you guys. Again, we're talking to somebody who won on the top levels of both the National Football League and the collegiate level. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Oh, and he happens to also be a great artist. Marlon favorite showing you can do it all. Marlon, thank you so much for joining me. It was a blast. Oh, really quickly, Robert Jackson's, how can we download your music? Where can they go to listen?
You can go to Apple Music or wherever you stream music, type in Big Fave, BIGFAV, and everything will pop up. Hello Somebody, all my videos, and thank y'all so much for listening. Kelsey, I'd love to see which one of my songs out of the catalog is your favorite. I can't wait to get feedback from you.
I've been pushed to make my first TikTok video, so you might just be my first TikTok video with the music in the background, Marlon.
Hello.
Challenge. The young folks are telling me I need to get on. So
indeed.
I know it's up. This is funny. Jamel says we need the collab with Darren Waller. You might need to send that DM. You might need to send that DM.
I'm gonna have to write it for him.
I don't know if you're gonna do it about the ex like him, but we need the collab. We need the collab.
That's funny.
It was a blast having you on. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for everyone for tuning in. You can catch Marlon, y'all, if you're down in New Orleans, listen to him on the radio. Like I said, listen to his music worldwide. And we're, again, just so excited to see you. Try to stay cool in that New Orleans heat. How? I don't know how you're going to do it, but whatever you need to do, Marlon, do. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye, Marlon.
Thanks for having me, Kelsey. Can't wait to come on again.
Looking forward to it. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Thanks again so much for a great show. Marlon was fabulous. I can't wait to go listen to his music. I need to unwind. It's been a long day, and we're only a Tuesday. But nonetheless, so excited. We'll be back next week. I'm actually bringing a 3-time Super Bowl winning champion to the live stream show. So you're going to have to stay tuned, follow the social media pages to find that who that was. I'll give you a hint. I was just at the White House, and this person was at the White House. And we know the Kansas City Chiefs just visited the White House for their Super Bowl celebration. So again, you are not going to want to miss that interview again. Not one Super Bowl, not 2 Super Bowls, but 3 Super Bowls. Be right here. Again, he'll be joining me Thursday live. We also have some great audio editions of the show dropping. So again, be sure to listen in to Listen In with KNN. And before I go out of here, I want to congratulate my 2024 spring interns for successful completion on the internship. I'm so thankful and honored that you all chose to work with me and the Fox Sports Radio team. And I'm so excited to see you all continue to do great things. So wishing you all the absolute best. Love and appreciate y'all. And just be kind to one another. And let's enjoy sports. All right. Bye, guys. Make it a great one.
You can follow Kelsey on social media at Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter, at @TheRealKNelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM, Fox Sports Radio in the Washington, D.C. area, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.